are you doing, my man?
I'm doing good, Parsa. How you doing, my man?
I'm good, man. Welcome back from Vegas. Tell me a little about Vegas.
Cool. I had a friend named Mohammed Niamov, who's a professional from Tajikistan. Huge following, cool guy. He's came to train with us like 2 years ago. I started working with him like 10 months ago. And I went out there and cornered him. He asked me to help him go out there and get ready for his fight. So I did. And it was fun, bro. We got to Vegas on a Tuesday. Had this big-ass Airbnb, which was amazing. I had this big-ass room with 2 big-ass beds, which I didn't need. But really, I was excited about that because I was, all right, we're going to be in this tight-ass hotel. It's going to kind of suck, which I've done many times with the guys, right? Share beds with dudes.
Yeah.
Kind of sucks. So having that was kind of cool.
Gay?
Yeah, it's happened a few times. So, we went out there on Vegas on Tuesday and, went out there and he wanted us to eat in front of him at night.
Why?
That's just his thing, I guess. He's
just
like,
torturing
brother.
himself.
He's like, brother. He's like, you're gonna eat. He's like, and he had a whole little crew with him. He had a bunch of his friends that are from Tajikistan that played a big role also. That they rented a Tesla, they rented the Airbnb, they got everything prepared, had big food, and the hospitality that they had for me was amazing, bro. And I kind of know the guys, and I'm establishing a new relationship with them, and it was pretty cool.
Are they fighters or just like his homies?
Nah, bro. They're just his homies.
I see.
They're just his homies. But one of them's like, I call him Nutella. That's his name. He's always eating Nutella.
Nutella?
Yeah, Nutella was pretty cool, bro. Yeah, just lots of good hospitality. Honestly, the energy and everything going down there was great. We had the other cornerman was a root. And then, bro, made weight, went and competed against a really tough guy from Dagestan. And we went out there and it was a really close fight, really tough fight, but he did everything he was working on. A lot of the stuff that he was working on too, like with the wrestling, was with Carrington Banks, who's one of the coaches on Elevation Fight Team.
Shout out to Jet Set.
Exactly. And all that came into fruition and it all worked out. And we got the nod, we won. So that was great. And then we had a really cool experience down there, bro, just having sushi at 2 a.m. at some restaurant and riding around in some random Mercedes and the Tesla. And it was just fun, bro. It was a good experience. Everything went in our favor.
Yeah.
So that was pretty cool. I really enjoyed that, dude.
Nice.
That was awesome. And came back home and I had a smoker I had to attend, which is like we have a bunch of kickboxers at high altitude who go and want to compete one day. So we have this huge smoker. But fortunately for me, I have a really good team under me. So I had or a team around me, I should say. And a bunch of the coaches showed up and ran it and did a good job. Because when I came back, I was fried.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah, I just wanted to stay home, and which I did. And I was communicating through text message and phone calls. And that was awesome, bro.
Nice.
Really cool experience.
Where was the smoker?
There's a guy named Oscar Martinez who has a gym called Muay Thai of Colorado, and they host some smokers, and we go down there and we compete, and they have a bunch of different gyms that show up, and it's a pretty cool. I mean, the kickboxing or Muay Thai and the MMA scene in Colorado is pretty lit for the most
great.
part. Yeah,
Can you get me a smoker?
I think I can, bro.
Yeah?
Yeah, let's keep hitting some mitts, and then let's
All right.
get you into a little tech sparring, and we'll get you a smoker.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
So for those of you who don't know, I met Rich when I moved to Colorado, and I looked around and I called some gyms because COVID hit. I stopped kickboxing. I got fat. My back was all fucked up, and I moved to Colorado. I said, all right, I got to get back into this. So I called all these gyms. I said, hey, I got these odd hours. Do you guys have classes for me? And of course, no one can, there's no kickboxing class at like 7 a.m. with good people. So, but then I called Hamma and they said, we have this guy named Rich. He's got this company, GoSquareUp. They come out to you. And I'm like, perfect. I'm like, have him call me. So then you called me. I don't know if you remember that conversation. It was like a 45-minute conversation. We chatted for quite a while. And we clicked right off the bat. And you said, yeah, come out, kickbox. I got this company, GoSquareUp. And I just told you a little about my background. Aside from just training, all the stuff I'm doing for the fighters, for the insurance, for the union, all that stuff. And so we clicked, and then you came out, held mitts for me, and here we are. What is it? How long has it been that we've been training? Like
good
6
question.
months?
I don't know. I want to say maybe even longer than that.
Yeah.
I'm not entirely sure, but it's probably let's say 6 to 8 months. That's solid. Maybe even more than that. Honestly, it's probably somewhere around that time frame.
So it was. I'll tell you exactly when it was. My back went out 2 days before Thanksgiving, It took me about a month and a half. And so we started mid-January, early to mid-January. So about 7 months.
7 months. Sounds
So
about
in
right.
those 7 months, I've lost 25 pounds.
Attaboy.
I'm officially the best 0-0 amateur fighter in the world.
Undefeated.
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 And I just fucking feel great, man. I love the fact that you come out to me, you send me additional looks. Like if you're busy one day, you'll send me your brother, or you'll send me Elias, and these are all professional fighters, or amateur, hoping to.
Yeah. Elias, an amateur, still my brother going pro now. Calderon, a professional already. So it's a mixed blend, right?
Yeah,
like,
I love that, dude.
Yeah, and ideally what I'd like at one point is to just have all these guys consistently doing that on their own so they can make money, right? I take a small cut, so I can build this little thing called GoSquareUp. But yeah, it's all vertically integrated, right? We all started, we're all from high altitude martial arts, and some of us end up on Elevation Fight Team. But so Cody Donovan and Christian Allen own high altitude martial arts. Amazing facility. They both given me the opportunity to quit my job and train and coach, and it's been amazing. And I'm not sure where I would be if I didn't walk into that gym, right? I still remember the first day when I walked into high altitude martial arts. The first person I met was Cody Donovan. I walked in and he was training with Brandon Thatch and Kat Zingano, which was kind of cool. And then we had like a 30-minute conversation. I'm not even sure if he remembers that, but I know I do.
Yep.
And it was pretty cool. And I came in and I started training, started doing a lot of jiu-jitsu, started blending it with some kickboxing, and the story writes itself. And I remember like 6 months later, I ended up bringing in my little brother, and I was trying to bring him in. And I remember telling Cody, I was like, yo, like my little brother's messing up. I need him in the gym. And he's like, just bring him in. Don't worry about it. And I'll never forget, bro, my brother didn't make a payment for a long time. He would clean the gym, not clean the gym. He was trying to do stuff for the gym. But I'm forever like grateful for that. And in doing so, we ended up linking up with Christian, who's the other business owner of, on the other side of that, and learning his striking program, which has been phenomenal, and Cody doing the MMA stuff. And it's just been a blend, and it's been really exciting. And with that, I got to do smokers. I got to do kickboxing fights, MMA fights, and kind of found my little place in the world right now. I'm still kind of finding it, right? But I think I'm starting to find this little crevice in Aurora, Colorado. And I think I got it, man.
Yeah.
And I got to build my own little business with it, my own little hustle. And hopefully that little hustle will become a big hustle one day. And things have just been phenomenal. Things have been phenomenal. And GoSquareUp, essentially what it is right now is that people who have these off hours, who have that little extra, the little extra cash flow, who maybe are able to afford, $500, $1,000, $1,500 a month, right? To have a personal kickboxing coach come out to you. And it's cool because we go to people's houses, we go to business. I go to some law firms. And now we're going to apartment complexes and doing group settings, and then peeling off some private clientele off of that. And at the end of the day, we're offering a cool service with legitimate strikers, with great personalities.
Yeah.
Like, bro, be yourself.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, all right, don't be yourself so much, dude. A little wild there.
Yeah.
And it's cool. And then that's how it is, right? It's like, starts with a thought, and then you build a business. And all I know is it's been fun, it's exciting, and I'm riding it right now. And who knows how long I'm going to ride it for. Is it 2 years? Is it 20 years? But whatever it is, I'm down for it.
I love it, man.
Yeah,
I love
I'm down
it.
for it.
One thing that really stood out to me when you came and we started to work together was your passion. Passion for striking, passion for coaching, passion for your business. And I was at a point in my career, I started my company in 2017 and we grew quite a bit, and you close a big deal or two and you kind of plateau, you get complacent. And in full transparency, that's where I was when you walked into my door. I was, sitting on a good amount of cash. Business was okay, but I wasn't hungry. I lost maybe 3 or 4 months of hunger for whatever reason. The first time in my entire life that this happened. I think it was just, if I'm being honest with myself, too much money in the bank and bills taken care of, and just not. And it's so embarrassing to say as an entrepreneur, but I went through that. But then I met you, and you'd come in with this fucking insanity, this passion, talking about your business, talking about all the stuff going on at Hama, and it slowly started to seep in, and it slowly started to carry over into my business. And I was making calls, and I was hustling again, and my pipeline is full again. And I love just surrounding myself with people like that. if I didn't meet you through fighting, I would have clicked with you no matter what. But the fact that you come over, you take your coaching seriously. I mean, I'm taking a look at my footage from session 1 to session whatever the fuck we're on, because I record everything. And it's amazing how much better I've gotten. And that's just in a short 6 months. So in the next 6 months, when I, get even better, I'd like to do a smoker with you. I'd like to kind of test my skills, because I'm fearful of it. I'm scared to fight, but I know that that's going to do good stuff for me outside of fighting. It's going to make me get out of my comfort zone. So,
well, that's the thing though, is that martial arts, bro, like not everyone's going to fight or compete at a higher level or go pro, right? Everybody walks in the door at high altitude, or even some of the clients through GoSquareUp, but I would say mostly through high altitude. I'm going to use this as an example, is most of the people probably won't fight. There's going to be a small percentage that will fight, and there's going to be a smaller percentage who are going to compete at a higher level, right? And get paid for it. But what martial arts does for people, it gets you better at other stuff, at entrepreneurship, or maybe at your job or at your relationship. Because training's tough.
Yep.
Like, as you step it up, even just hitting mitts, it's exhausting, it's tiring. They're telling you another round, keep going, keep your hand up, chin tucked in. And then you go into grappling, then you go into jiu-jitsu and wrestling, and then you go into sparring. And then sparring is, and like, to some people, they build sparring to this big thing, but then for people, then it's fighting, and then fighting on a bigger stage. And martial arts can definitely help you
100%
in a million different ways, right? It's only if you allow it to, though. And like for me, like I've been training now for nearly 8 years, and I've looked at it like how that's prepared me for other things to take them. In the last 8 years, lost family members, quit jobs, was broke, didn't have a car for a year and a half, bro. And I would have loved to think that the fact of training martial arts has helped me out with that. Also, martial arts probably actually had me quit my job and lose cars because I was so obsessed with it. Dude, I remember at one point, so I was working as a cook, and I was where was I at exactly? I was at the Hyatt, bro. I had this cushy little spot, 5.5 years working for the Hyatt. Got to do a little bit of traveling. Went to New York City and DC. They would put me up in hotels. It was free. It was a great experience, right? But I remember I started developing anxiety, bro. I'd walk into the building, and before I'd walk in, and I worked as a morning cook, and so I'd go in the crack of dawn before like the sun even came up, and I just remember having that feeling like I'm gonna do this forever. I'm gonna be a cook. I'm gonna be a chef. And I was already doing martial arts. I was doing jiu-jitsu and kickboxing and training and competing. And I would develop this anxiety. And then one day I quit my job with no plan. Literally the most irresponsible thing you could have done. It was a great experience, though. I quit my job, and I came home, and I was like, what the fuck am I going to do? And for a whole year, bro, I was bouncing around job to job. I had 11 jobs in 1 year. One of them, I was watching dogs. My roommate came home. Bro, my roommate came home. Boy, Aliso Calderon, if you're watching this, love you, bro. He's been with me through thick and thin. He came home, and I had a fucking Labrador in the house, bro. And he's like, what the fuck is this? I was like, I'm watching the dog. Sold the couch. Sold my TV.
Oh, my God.
I had to pay rent. I was borrowing money from people. And but it all worked out. I can go into details of some funny shit that happened. I actually got a cool story I want to tell you about. So it's kind of funny because he would pay. We were paying bills, right? I think I was like 26, 27 years old at the time. So I'm probably like 27. And the bill comes for electricity. And he's like, bro, they're going to turn off our bill. I got you, bro. Don't worry about it. And then he's like, all right. And like a week later, he's like, bro, they turned off the fucking electricity. I thought you said they couldn't. I was like, fuck, they could. I was on the phone with the electric company. I was like, can I just send you like this amount? And I took care of it. But that just sucked. And that was just for me trying to hustle, thinking I knew what I was doing. I was like, I'll just spend the money on this for now, and then I'll do this. It wasn't that I was stealing anybody's money.
Yeah.
And we took care of it like that day. And but that was funny, bro.
Yeah.
Till this day, he'll remind me. Now I'm
That's
34,
hilarious.
bro. He'll like, so hey, remember that time they turned off the electricity and you said they couldn't turn it off? I was like, apparently they could, bro.
Dude, all those fucking crazy moments that you went through are life experiences that are going to pay dividends in the future.
Absolutely.
They're going to, the hardship is important. The struggle is important. I went through it, and it's done wonders for me. And coincidentally, I started martial arts when I started my firm. In 2017, I launched Strand Life Financial. That same year is when I fell in love with striking. I hired a Bellator fighter to teach me how to strike. And if you can imagine, leaving a job that was paying me very well, giving me leads, 6-figure income, no kids, no wife. I had a dream life. I lived on the beach. I mean, I was literally living the dream. And then I just wasn't satisfied. I wanted more. So I said, I'm going to take the risk, quit my job, and start. Although I wasn't quitting my job, I was just starting a firm doing the same thing that I was doing. But had I not found martial arts, I don't think I would have been successful. And the reason for that is because I would go to training every single day, and then I would hire a coach every single day. So I was doing 2 days. I was exhausted, but it also taught me, you know, if I don't put my hand up, I'm going to get smacked in the face, and that would carry over. If I don't make this call to this potential client, I'm going to lose him. It resonated really well with me, and it made me work even harder than I already was. So for those of you who are listening who may just kind of be in a rut, martial arts, I highly recommend it. Start with some jiu-jitsu classes, maybe do some striking, but I would be shocked if someone dedicated themselves to it and didn't come back and say it fucking was amazing. I mean, I don't think I've ever heard of someone say, I went to a kickboxing class and I fucking hated it. Like, I just very rarely, I think, does that happen. So yeah, man, I completely agree with you. Martial arts is crucial, and you have a fucking awesome story. What are your plans for GoSquareUp in, let's say, the next year, 2 years? If you could ideally paint a picture for yourself of the growth of the business.
I got you, Parsa. All right, so the plan really is more the next 3 to 5 years. Right now, I'm really focusing on. So right now, where my headspace is high altitude, and with elevation fight team, and with high altitude, it comes hand in hand. Is like we're moving into a new facility, December/January, hopefully. Right, I don't want to put any dates out there, but
I thought it was gonna be. Oh, October, you guys get the keys.
No. So we already, so Cody and Christian already got the keys. We've already looked at it, and they're building it out.
Okay.
They're building out the gym, and that just takes some time, getting permits and all that good stuff. Obviously, I don't have, I don't know exactly what the date is, but ideally, I'm thinking that it's probably going to be going into January 2023. Okay. So it's going to be a way bigger facility to kind of like help us out because we're so packed. Since the pandemic, we've been so busy. And people want to train with, I think it's a blend of, we have an amazing coaching staff. We have really good competitors. We have really good energy. Nobody like is like the jocks. And then, you go to some gyms and you kind of have that vibe. And I think it's just a blend. And then having obviously high level fighters in there, throwing flying knees in people's faces like Corey Sandhagen is, right? That kind of puts some clout on there and people want to be part of that. But I think just building this baby. So that's kind of where my headspace is at. So GoSquareUp has taken a small backseat. Nothing major. I'm always working and hustling on the side. But for the next 3 to 5, I would say once I can get things going a little bit more, just giving my attention, the proper attention to it, what I would imagine in 3 to 5 years, we'll have a sophisticated website. We'll have an app. We'll be in every major city. We'll have, let's say, 3 to 5 striking coaches in Miami, 5 to 6 in New York, and just building the relationships. It's important to build relationships. And then offering the service all over the country and then one day all over the world. But it has to be quality. So I can't get too big too fast, right? Like if you were to tell me 1 year we'll have the website and then I'm like, I'm not ready for it. I just know I'm not. So it's my job to control that baby, right? And build the coaches and build the fighters and do all that so we can have that. And then the marketing will come naturally and organically. So I'm careful on like how much money I want to take from an investor, which I've taken $0 and I fork everything up for myself. And but it's been great. And I think that GoSquareUp could be the world's biggest kickboxing gym with no gym all over the planet. That would be the sickest thing ever. And if it didn't, I'm going to try. It's going to be fun. It's make it exciting. I mean, that's what you do, right? If someone were to tell you one day when they walk into your gym, I want to be the UFC world champion one day. It's like, well, great. Like, that's going to take a lot of time, right? Or if somebody were to come in and you and tell you, I want to own the biggest real estate company in the world, or yada, 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 right? You see the direction I'm going with, right? It starts with a thought, executing, and chipping away little by little by little. And I absolutely believe that that's the trajectory that we're on. But I love this stuff, bro. And look, if I didn't get paid for this, which some of the stuff I probably don't, I would just keep doing this. But obviously money is important and getting paid. But it's all about like building people and giving them confidence. And if they can, you know, just like my coaches taught me, it's like, if you can help them just a little bit, bro, it's worth it.
100%.
You know, and that's where I project to see GoSquareUp in 3 to 5 years. I don't see it. I'm not sure exactly in the next 1 to 2, but 3 to 5, I got that down.
Hell yeah.
You know?
And what I love about GoSquareUp is you do all levels, you know, like you could come in and teach my wife how to throw a basic jab. And then you can also come to me, again, the world's best 0-0 amateur fighter. And then just, you know, work on my skill. Because, you know, I'm whatever, intermediate, whatever you want to call it. But you have coaches that can accommodate all needs. And it's nice to have someone come to your house. You get a workout, and in this new world that we live in, like I work out of my house, I train out of my house, I got everything, and it's just efficient. Now I can spend a ton of time with my kids. I don't have to worry about traveling to a gym, although there is a benefit, and I do want to ultimately, maybe 1 or 2 days a week, come to Hama and just to get some different looks.
Well, you're a little bit of a different, because you want to compete, right? But like, for example, I got a guy named John. I trained for a while, right? And again, same guy. My guys go and train him sometimes too. But he took off for like, I don't know, 9 months. He had gotten injured, had some life stuff. He hit me up, and we're right back on it starting today, right?
Nice.
We're gonna go right back onto it. And like, people like him who just they want you to come over to their place, train them twice a week, and then they supplement that with everything else, and they enjoy that. And I can use all these different clients that I have, you know, who want that. They want you to, some of them might go to their job on their lunch break, and they, you know, they're the bosses or whatever, so they can kind of carve out their time. And we do that 1 to 2 times a week. Go to these law firms and carve out some space and time for them. And then you 45 minutes solid. They get to hit, 10-minute conversation, in and out, baby. And at the end of the day, what I tell the guys too, look, bro, don't look at this as a money grab. Never look at it as a money grab. The second you look at it as a money grab, things are going to go downhill. You know, if you like them, you know, start a relationship with them, be cool with them. And then you get invited places into rooms, and then you invite them, and it becomes, and like the more genuine we make it, the better it is. That's why I need to be careful. I don't want this to ever be like some in and out, like, oh, 45 minutes, we do this and we do that. Like, I'm negotiable. Obviously, like I said, money is important, but what's more important is like starting relationships. And if we look at it from that standpoint, things are going to work out. And, you know, things have been working out. Yeah, dude. And what's kind of cool is like so I was looking for a name for the company like a while back when we were like developing it. I remember I was at my sister's house, and me and her were like, all right, what are we going to do? And she was starting her own little hustle. And I found like, which were silly. I can't even remember the names, but they're fucking stupid, right? But some of them were like Samurai Personal Strike. I don't fucking know. But I remember looking up some of those names to just get the domain name. Bro, some of them were like fucking $16,000
for the domain name.
I swear, bro. And I was like, well, that's a stupid name for 16 grand. And then when I stumbled upon GoSquareUp, the cool thing, it was worth like, at the time, I don't know, like $2 or some shit, right? I was like, I can afford that. I'm gonna take it. And the cool thing is now with SquareUp, right? That is actually a multi-billion-dollar company. The actual like where you swipe your card and do all that stuff with it. And I use them. So SquareUp. But then the second you put GoSquareUp, it's first a multi-billion-dollar company, and then the future multi-billion-dollar company.
There you
right?
go.
And it's us. And look, I don't know if it'll get to that, but I know it puts money in the fighters' pockets. It puts a little bit of money in my pocket, and we're having fun with it. I don't know exactly where we're gonna go. I'll have an idea what like the 3 to 5 years looks like. But that's all I want, bro. Look, I'm not money hungry.
Yeah.
I'll split the pot with many people.
Yeah.
As long as I can put a roof over my head, I can go and train, I can compete. I'm blessed, bro. You know how blessed are we, bro, to be in this fucking country to do things like that?
Very.
Right? Like how blessed are we, bro?
Very blessed, man. Yeah, and dude, whoever's listening to this, the passion just comes through, and this is why I love working with you. I do 3-4 days a week on my own, and I have workouts, and you know, I work out. It is what it is. But when you come over and we get a nice little mid session, and I'm cracking pads, I fucking like my nanny yesterday. She didn't speak English, but she was telling my wife, she's like, Parsa, all he does is shadow box in the kitchen. You know, it spills over into the rest of my life. Like, I love the technique that you teach of throwing a punch straight down the middle. You're bringing your left hand up on the hook, and just you teach very well, as opposed to some people who just are, like you said, they're just in it for the paycheck. They just want to come in there and hold mitts for an hour and then say, okay, where's my money? I never felt that with you. And for anyone who has an interest in learning how to throw a punch, defend a punch, I highly recommend GoSquareUp. And I never, ever, ever want to use fighting in the streets, ever. I have no desire to do that. This is strictly to just better myself, better my confidence, and look better, obviously. So GoSquareUp, I fucking love, and I can't wait for you guys to grow and get even bigger.
Yeah, I'm actually trying to look up this company that I probably can't even find them right now. But there's this company in Lone Tree. They're like a hearing aid company or whatever. I went to go talk to them. They had like a little gym inside their space. I talked to them. I haven't really like reached out to them hard or anything, but like I was like, bro, like some of the stuff that we do is nonverbal cues.
Yeah.
Right? It's all reactive stuff.
Yep.
It's the reality of like fighting versus like jab, cross, hook, right? Obviously, you got to learn that way. And there's nothing wrong with that type of training. But eventually, when you make it reactive, you can kind of counterbalance your brain. And this is all the stuff from Christian Allen, who's taught me all this striking stuff. And that's fighting, is making it reactive when it's nonverbal cues. Because, you know, when you're fighting, if you just try to go jab, cross, hook, and they're like moving and hitting you, it's like, oh, it's a lot different. And so going back to this company that I was reaching out to, when I went to go talk to them, and I don't think they understood it a little bit, but maybe I'll reach out to them again. They're like in Lone Tree, but I was trying to explain to them, I was like, this is perfect for those type of people. Like, where they don't, like, obviously you put in like a hearing aid in them or a hearing, you know, so they can hear better, which is great. But nonverbal, bro.
Yeah.
And that'll transition so much better if you couldn't hear and you could just see stuff and react.
Yeah.
Like, how dope is that? And that's really where it's at, you know?
Yeah, we don't use, you just tell me.
And occasionally when we start off, like you have to start off with that, right?
Right.
Like you have to start off with like, hey, jab, body kick, or if I call this out, or if you see me do this, this is the reaction. And then when you spar, you're like, oh, God,
Yeah.
I saw that. I know how to pull and then throw the cross. And
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's kind of sick. But, yeah, that's basically where I was going was like, I went to go talk to this company. I was like, well, you know, GoSquareUp would be a perfect supplement where if I brought in 2-3 striking coaches over there, put a little bread in their pocket, we offer you guys a service. And that's really where it's at. We're a service company.
Yeah.
We're not selling stuff. You know, we're selling a service, a quality service too, I believe.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's why I think obviously fighting we click, but entrepreneurially we click as well. Like when you come in, you talk about GoSquareUp and all the moves that you've made, it motivates me to get into this office and do the same thing for my business. And same with training. Like I said, surrounding yourself with people who are like-minded, so fucking important. Being around killers. You know who that guy, Andrew Tate, a fucking big internet guy.
That boy's causing a ruckus.
Yeah, but something that he said really stood out to me. He's like, I live with my brother and a couple other guys, not because we can't afford our own fat house, but because we're just constantly surrounded and competing. And I live with fucking 5 women, you know, 5 girls. I miss that, dude. That's why I love when you come over, even if it's not like holding mitts, just like another alpha male ready to fucking like do some work. I love that. It's very important.
I can relate to that. I remember when I was younger, I was living in El Paso, Texas, in a household with a lot of women. And I remember my cousin, Danny Arrieta, showed up. Oh, he was a mess, but he was a male.
Yeah.
He was alpha. And I picked up on some habits. I don't know if they were good or bad, but I definitely needed that. So it's important. I can now that I think about it right now, it's like, yeah, it is important to have that. Like, it is nice to have your own little space and be quiet and all that. But it's nice to have a space, whether you go to a certain gym or whether you have some buddies that you hang around with that bring that competitive spirit out of you, whether it's entrepreneurship, whether it's in a training room or whatever it is. I think it is important to be tested a little bit. And then that's the other thing with like with striking or with jiu-jitsu or MMA or whatever. Like, how many lawyers are out there, or dentists, or judges, or people who are at that higher caliber of like this alpha room, right, that they're doing? But it's like, how did they get there? Competitive rooms to get to that level, right?
Yes.
Yeah, they were competing, whether that was like with education or financially in the law firm, right? And even like for me, when I was a cook, when you're in a competitive kitchen, it's important to have that, right? And I remember being in a kitchen, and I was a cook for a long time. I went to the Art Institute, overpaid for my education. Art Institute, you're too expensive. Anyways, I went there and I like learned how to cook, and I went to kitchens, and there were some kitchens that were really competitive. I remember being at this place in Mountain View, California. They had like 2 Michelin stars, and they had just lost a Michelin star. And I was doing an internship there, and I was working completely for free. And we walked in there, and you can feel the energy in every intern that came in, or every chef that was in there. And it was like everything had to be immaculate. Did I belong in there? Absolutely not. But I lied through my teeth, and I got there, and I learned a lot.
Yeah.
But it was important. I remember feeling that too. And I remember when a woman came in the kitchen. Ooh. All of a sudden, we're looking at her, and the next thing you know, we're like, oh, she's taking your job, bro. You better slow the fuck down. You better, she ain't your friend. She ain't there to like try to date you.
Yep.
And that's the truth, brother. Like, it's important, I think, to have have that competitive spirit and all that
100%
in the workforce. And then it is also nice, I think, like, to be a little chill. Like,
I think Ian, our podcast producer, you worked in food for the past few years, right?
Yeah, all 3 of my jobs prior to this have been in food service, except for one where I worked for my best friend's mom for a month, just kind of handling soil samples of all things.
Yeah.
But yeah, my latest job was at a catering company, and you know, I spent a little bit of time kind of around the kitchen because I did some hosting and serving.
yeah.
But it was definitely like an interesting thing because in Flagstaff where I was, you know, you have a lot of people who tend to get stuck there. And that's very much how it was with that kitchen. I did not see a whole lot of competition, and even my executive chef, my general manager, was kind of that way. He'd been working for the company for a while, and was just kind of like, the things I'm gonna write about when I finally quit this job are gonna be insane.
Yeah, to be in a kitchen, Ian, like, and you know this probably like I do. It's a certain type of personality, a certain type of character, and a lot of them are fucked up, man. People like
100%.
you know, tatted up, smoking cigarettes, talking shit, want to burn stuff, cut stuff, want to party. And then some of them who want to be the executive chef, like, by any means necessary. I want a $100K salary and own my own shit.
Yep.
And competitive, right? Yes, man, I've been in some fucked up kitchens, though, man. I've seen some fucked up shit. I'm like, bro, what are you doing, bro? You doing cocaine in the back?
Yeah.
Bro,
I've seen
seriously.
I had a 3-week stint working as a server. In between, I used to day trade. I was a day trader in the company that I worked for. Had litigation, so they just, for a year, shut down. So like a few months went by and my savings just dried up. And my dad, my parents were like, you're fucking 23 years old. You're on your own, you know? I was like, fucked. So across, we worked in a business complex. Across from the business complex was a Italian restaurant. And that guy would always come smoke cigarettes with me, and we would just shoot the shit. So I went up to him like, dude, I have no money. I need a job. He's like, come on, work for me. And this guy would have like 20 Red Bulls a day. He owned the restaurant. He would do coke in the bathroom. He would smoke weed, and all his cooks were the same thing. And here I was, like, just learning how to fucking take plates without burning my hands. And I'm like, is this how all fucking restaurants operate? And I ended up quitting just because I found a new job at Merrill Lynch. But for those 3 weeks, I got exposure to that world. So I know it's a weird place. Yeah, I thought kitchens were just people were cooking, like it was normal, but no, it's.
So with that being said, I actually want to give a shout out to Snooze the Eatery. Snooze is actually.
I love Snooze.
So I worked there for a little bit before.
Which one? The one in.
The one in Lone Tree. It's off of Lincoln. It's actually not far from where you live.
Yeah.
It's in like the shopping center. I think there's like not a Merrill Lynch, but there's like some type of
Edelman Financial Services.
I don't even know. Okay. Some financial company, some big firm is right there, right? I probably need to go talk to them, right? Yeah. But anyway, so I worked there for a little bit, and they were pretty dope. Like the chef there, man, I wish I could remember his name. But anyway, some white dude with a beard, a little bit of a belly. He was kind of cool when he hired me. I asked him for X amount of dollars, which wasn't a lot, but like for cooking at the time, it was like, that was a little more. And he was just like, I'll pay you. I trust you. And dude, he had this big ass speaker, dude. And when we would prep, I loved it. I went to, it was like a club, bro. Put the speaker on the
Hell
music.
Yeah.
I mean, it was big. It was a huge speaker. It was the loudest system I've ever been in a kitchen, and it would thump, bro. And the cooks would walk in, and it was like 2.5 hours, bro, 3 hours of like, we're just gonna bang everything out, and everybody, and then it was just so cool.
That's awesome.
Like, bro, the stuff that they did, everything had a recipe, and you had to execute that recipe. He would come over and talk shit if it wasn't right, dump it. He's like, do it again, but he was cool about it, and it was just so cool to see somebody like he was passionate about it. And Snooze was that big old thick pancakes.
I love Snooze. Yeah.
Yep.
I went to the one by the train station.
Okay,
Snooze
cool.
Eatery. There's one in Lone Tree. There's also one in Centennial. I love Snooze.
Guaranteed. If you want diabetes, go to Snooze, bro. You're gonna turn into a diabetic overnight, dude. The food, all of it's got sugar, but delicious.
It's so good. But
amazing.
Yeah, fucking you walk out feeling like absolute shit because it's just so heavy.
Fucking chocolate chips and your fucking 3-inch pancakes, dude, stacked with maple syrup.
Yep.
Oh my goodness.
It's a one meal for the day type spot. You know, you're gonna get 1,500 calories. You probably should
1,500, bro. Maybe.
I could throw down.
I'm thinking you getting
Two
two.
Gs?
I don't know. Maybe.
Maybe.
1,500 is a lot though.
Yeah.
It's probably about 1,500.
Yeah.
It's delicious though, right? It's amazing.
So good.
Yeah.
So you were a cook for how long?
Ooh, for a long time. I went to culinary school, and then I want to say I was a cook for like roughly, just throwing a number out there, probably like 12 years, bro.
Oh wow.
12, like 11 years, something like that.
Can
11
you throw
years.
down in the kitchen at home, or do you?
Bro, I cooked for some of the for the Tajikistans, and
Nice.
and they're like, they want me to cook for them again. Yeah, I know how to cook, bro.
Yeah.
Alicia would disagree right now. He's like, bro, this guy just made hot dogs. I hate it, bro. Like, when I say I hate it, I was tired of cooking, right? Like, that's what I did for a job. So when I'd come home, I just wanted a sandwich, a hot dog, a bowl of cereal, right? Yeah. But absolutely, I know how to cook. Yeah, I can get down. I can marinate some meat, make some delicious tacos. I can make a little bit of Mediterranean food. Yeah, I can get down. It's just something that I got a little burned out from it, right?
Yeah.
You do it every day, and you lose a little bit of passion for it.
Yeah. Elias likes to cook too. Shout out to Elias.
Dude, Elias Rodriguez, one of our striking coaches at High Altitude and the GoSquareUp coach.
Was on the pod. He was the first guest on the pod.
Yeah, he's a ninja. That kid's a stud, bro. Good looking, speaks Spanish. He can fight. He can coach, and then he can cook. He knows a lot about like nutrition too. So
sweetheart of a kid too.
Yeah, he's a stud, bro. That kid's good. Yeah, he can cook, bro. Yeah. He'll be sending me pictures of some shit he's cooking. I'm like, damn.
I know. It's like authentic Dominican food.
Yeah.
Like tortas or something.
Yeah, exactly, bro. Bro, you want some mean pancakes? My brother Carlos Valadez.
Oh, hell yeah.
He makes pancakes all day. Pancakes and bacon. That's his recipe, dude.
Nice. I can make pancakes, but it's fucking so easy. I mean, just
you put a little bit of love into it. You add a little something to it. All of a sudden, that pancake that's a $50 pancake.
There you go. Speaking of your brother, he's making his pro debut October 1st, right?
Yeah, I'm excited for him, bro. Yeah, my brother is going to be making his professional debut October 1st in Colorado Springs. And
I'm going to be there.
Yeah, that's what my brother wants to do, bro. 25 years old. It's what he wants to do for the rest of his life. Mm-hmm. He walked into the gym at 17 years old. Yeah, bro. Kind of proud of him, bro. This is what we're going to do. And then the next step is healthy professional career, and then go to the next level, which will ultimately be the UFC. And it's one of my goals is like, we're gonna get you there, bro, by any means necessary. We'll do it intelligently. Yeah. You have a lot of really good talent, young talent at Hamma, and directly under you. Well, I don't know if we want to say under you, but no. Well, the thing is, what ended up happening at High Altitude, bro, is that the gym is just, the notoriety came through all the hard work that Christian Allen and Cody Donovan put in, and Corey Sandhagen. Corey Sandhagen spent a lot of time with a lot of this new talented coaches and fighters. I remember we were training in the back, and there was no like MMA classes at High Altitude, and just a few of us, Miguel Perez, Daniel Agree, even Aaron Porter, the strength and conditioning coach at Atlanta Performance, one of my good friends. We don't get to spend a lot of time together. Newful, Alcazari, Carlos Valadez, myself. We kind of just would hang out in the back, like, you guys want to meet up at 4 and do MMA? And we kind of knew, but not really. And I think Corey saw us one day, and he was just like, he had told me the story. There's kind of like a story behind it, but he ultimately was like, I'll help you guys out. Yeah. He kind of just jumped in and started training us a little bit and taking his time. And then so did the other coaches, in Cody Donovan and Christian Allen. And we started building this little monster, and then everyone started kind of competing and doing this. And then it's kind of built this thing where it's kind of been built so big where now it's everyone's got like these guys under them. And then I got a few guys, and everyone's got a few guys, and even the fighters got a few guys. And it becomes this spider web
Yeah.
of coaching and training and a blend of it, you know?
Yeah. Corey's my favorite person to watch at sparring just because he's so fucking good.
Yeah,
He's so good.
yeah, he's pretty good.
He's so good, man. It's like a wizard in action. What do you think of his upcoming fight?
I'm excited for him. I think it's a good fight. I think it's a tough fight, but Corey always shows up to the occasion, and he has a tendency to do some amazing things.
yeah.
And I think, like, talking about amazing things, right? You're in a room with amazing people, and you gotta sometimes you gotta reach deep and find that dragon in you. And a lot of these guys are learning how to find that dragon through Corey. You know, 'cause Corey has been amazing, and you know, it doesn't happen every time, but when it happens, it's special, right? Yeah, and people probably want to live for those moments, right? To be like, I was there for that, right?
His Frankie Edgar knee was probably the top 5 like jump out of my seat moments in watching UFC.
Yeah, phenomenal performance, dude. Like crazy.
One thing that really pisses me off about this sport is what happened to Corey in his last fight. He, in my opinion, and among most people, he won that fight against TJ Dillashaw. And what happens is TJ's now fighting for the title. Corey now has to fight maybe once or twice more before he gets another title shot. And it's all in the hands of 3 judges, likely who have never done MMA. This is one among many things that really pisses me off about the sport. It's a new sport. Obviously, it's going to take time for it to find its legs. But I just think that we're at a point. It's the UFC sold for $4 billion. I think it's now valued at close to $8 billion. There's other promotions. We need to do better. We need to give the fighters benefits. For those of you who don't know, I'm working on a disability insurance policy specific to MMA fighters so that if you do get injured, you at least have some sort of payment coming into you to cover your lifestyle so that you don't have to go out and drive an Uber or a Lyft or work an oddball job while you're training 4 or 5 hours a day. It's just not realistic. So the judging, the fighter benefits, health insurance, disability insurance, getting a retirement plan, something, it needs to be done. We're working on it. There's a lot of information that I'm going to be coming out in the next probably 4 or 5 months. But, you know, that Corey fight, he just got fucked, you know? And it's like, we're talking the difference of potentially 7 figures in the next year, 2 years of his life, just from those three fucks who gave him a split decision loss. And he fought that on short notice. It just pisses me off. It's one of a dozen fights that I can look back on and just say, man, that's changed the trajectory of that poor guy's career. Now, Corey's a fucking stud, so he's going to come back. He's going to likely win and win again and get another title shot, so he'll be fine. But I have seen it where, 3 judges destroy a person's career. And you don't see that in any other sport. Maybe in NFL, we got like the tuck rule or some shit like that. That's like the one only situation in which there was controversy, but it just happens so much in fucking MMA. Do you know, or have you heard of things being in the gym way more often than I am? Are they doing anything about it? Are they going to add judges? 3's not enough. It needs to be like 10 in my opinion.
I don't know. I've heard like Joe Rogan talk about it. I've heard of people talk about it. I mean, eventually, maybe something will be done with it. I don't know. It's kind of a tough. That's where the sport is at. But like, kind of what you're talking about with, I mean, how cool would that be if you got into the big shows and there was like a 401k and a dental plan and a health insurance, right? And I think
it'll happen.
No, it's gonna happen. I mean, like, I think the NFL has stuff like that and the NBA.
Yeah.
Plus, all of them make a grip of money. But it's yeah, ideally everybody wants that, and I think it's a slow burn, right? It takes time. It takes people to come in here and knock on doors and cause a little bit of a ruckus.
This is my life's passion. I had a conversation with a gentleman named Mike Conklin yesterday. He is a professor at Angelo State University. He's a business law professor. He wrote an article back in 2020. This guy knows nothing about MMA. He's a professor. He literally knows nothing about MMA. Yeah. But he I don't know why, but he wrote an article about the classification of UFC fighters. They're technically supposed to be employees based on all that the UFC requires of them. They're supposed to be labeled as W-2 employees, just like NFL players, NBA players, MLB players.
But I think this is almost like the same thing as what's happening with Lyft and Uber. They were facing a lawsuit. They're like, so it's
It's the exact same thing.
Yeah, it's kind of tough, and I personally don't know much about that, but I do know it's just like, well, can you pay them more? Can you?
Well, you have to understand the UFC is a business first and foremost, and
Mm-hmm.
as a business owner, you're a business owner. You do what you can to keep your bottom line as high as possible. If that means paying your staff what you think you can get away with paying them, you'll do that, right? You're not going to pay them more if they're not asking for it or if they're not demanding it. And what's happening right now is that the UFC, most fighters are not getting paid what they deserve, but there's a few select that get paid very well. And their model, and I respect them as a business because it's fucking beautifully how they set it up. Their model is that they incentivize you to bust your ass in hopes to get to that top, but most don't. But because just the fighting spirit in most people, they think that they can, but they end up not making much, and they've dedicated their youth to a career that is not going to pay them very well. They're not going to have a ton of skills afterwards. They're going to have to generally just do MMA, which is fine. But it's really unfortunate that the fighters don't pool together and go up against the UFC. And I understand why they don't do it, because you got to imagine, let's say you get a brand new UFC contract. You got a 6-fight contract. You've busted your ass to make it into the UFC. Now some schmuck is telling you, hey, sign this petition to join a union, and there's no guarantee that you're going to fight for the next 18 months while we negotiate. No one's going to fucking sign that, right?
Yeah, people want to make money, and it's kind of scary, something new like that, right? I get it. And I hear what you're saying, and I think we had a conversation about it one time, but we'll see what happens. People got to knock on the doors, and to make things happen. So it's and I believe that one day it'll happen. Because MMA is such a young sport, and look how fast it's risen and grown, and there's opportunities for a lot of stuff to happen. So I'm excited about that. I'm excited about the future of a lot of things. Like I'm excited for the future of your podcast, your hustle, my hustle, the guys' futures with fighting, and it's pretty exciting. And like, how blessed are we to these are the problems that we have, right?
I know.
Like going back to that, right? These are the problems that we have. But just because we are so blessed doesn't mean that we shouldn't be addressing shit like that.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm excited about it, bro.
It'll happen in due time. I've got myself dedicating every waking hour that I have to putting this together. We've actually created, this is not known, but my team created an MMA Fighters Association.
Okay, cool.
It's going to launch in the next 3 months. We're hoping to have this disability insurance policy on there on a group level. There's a lot of moving parts, but I will tell you this, and I can look you straight in the eye. I'm fighting for the fighters because I respect them so much. And I just having trained, I know what they put their body and their minds through. It's not just their body. The mind is just as important, and they need to be taken care of. And because of the situation that I'm in and the connections that I have, I feel a duty to put forth my best effort and help these fighters out. So maybe check in with me in the next 6 months, and we'll have some big news for you.
Sounds cool, Parsa. I'm excited for that, bro.
All right, my man.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for joining, man. If you guys want to look up GoSquareUp on Instagram, it's at GoSquareUp. We'll put the link in the descriptions below. But thanks again, man. Really appreciate it. And
one real quick shout out. Hit up GoSquareUp if you want us to come to your home, to your company, to your job with some dope stuff. Also, if you want to come into a dope gym and you want to see some cool kickboxing and jiu-jitsu, come to High Altitude Martial Arts.
Cheers, man. Thanks so much. All right, everybody. We'll see ya. Take care. Bye-bye.